As we all know, hundreds of thousands of Americans have already died from coronavirus, and Trump's inaction and incompetence has led to a pretty severe spike in new coronavirus cases. And now, unfortunately, we're seeing an increase in the number of coronavirus-related deaths as well. But the real victim, guys, is Donald Trump himself. And if you don't agree, just know that this is what Donald Trump truly believes. We know that because he's been crying to all of his friends and allies who have then turned around and leaked this news to the Washington Post. So what is going on? Well, some of his advisors have spoken to the press and say that the president behind the scenes has been crying and ranting about coronavirus destroying what he refers to as the greatest economy that he has personally built, which is laughable. He claims that he's inundated with fake news and then the press never gives him any credit. And then he also thinks that there wouldn't be any rioting, there wouldn't be any type of civil unrest if it weren't for Derek Chauvin kneeling on George Floyd's neck and murdering him in broad daylight. So he's angry about that situation, not because he thinks there's a problem with police brutality, but because that triggered the civil unrest that's hurting him politically. But he doesn't think that there is a problem with policing in this country, far from it. Now, he also refuses to take any blame for any of his failures. So according to the Washington Post, the president has cast himself in the starring role of the blameless victim of a deadly pandemic, of a stalled economy, of deep-seated racial unrest, all of which happened to him rather than the country. So he thinks that there's like some sort of collusion happening in the country, some sort of like Trump destruction planning happening. And that's the reason why we're seeing all this devastation in the United States. He thinks it's all about him. He's the classic narcissist, and it's incredible.
Yeah, so let me give you some of the crying, and then I want to go to the specifics, which I think are serious and worse. So on Twitter, he recently screamed all caps, "political witch hunt." I don't even know which one he's referring to. Like, I don't know if it's like the Supreme Court making rulings about legal cases is a political witch hunt. Now some Republicans are saying that the Supreme Court, Lou Dobbs said it the other night, the Supreme Court is obviously part of the deep state. There's just no end to it. There's no, everything is like, no, not fair. Worse than a 7-year-old. You remember yesterday he said on Twitter, courts in the past have given broad deference, but again, all caps, but not me. Dude, it's not, they're judging cases based on the law, but not me. Oh, you little baby.
Oh, he's a little bitch. Just call him what he is, Cenk. Call him what he is. Don't be afraid. I won't judge you. Look, the thing that also like I find incredible, right? So his supporters might not believe this narrative, even though Trump is whining and crying publicly as well. But how do you watch him in these videos when he's like this? When he's talking like this with his hands crossed, like right in front, or his arms crossed right in front of him like a little baby. Like, how do you look at that and think, yeah, that's my guy? How embarrassing. He acts like a child in front of the entire world on a daily basis.
Yeah, and every time I see those temper tantrums and him crying, and I think people look up to him. Oh, that's so sad.
Amazing.
So sources at the White House described him as inconsolable. And again, 7-year-olds get inconsolable. Like, hey, it's not that big a deal that you didn't get dessert because remember you didn't do your homework or whatever. Inconsolable. He's a little. So
can I just give you more from his advisors? Because there are just some lovely tidbits from this report. So there's one other advisor, and by the way, how sad is it that Trump confides in a few people, right? They're supposed to be his, because remember, he has tried to surround himself with a bunch of yes men, and make no mistake, these people are yes men. They tell Trump everything he wants to hear, and then they turn around and they leak this stuff to the media. Another advisor who chatted with Trump about a month ago said the president opened with a lengthy rant expressing animus toward reporters, with Trump citing individual names of journalists and specific stories, particularly those about the coronavirus recovery. This person added that Trump also railed about pollsters being out to get him and deliberately sampling the wrong voters, and complained he was being blamed for protests that he had nothing to do with. No, you tweeted, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Did he not realize how disastrous that tweet was when people started taking to the streets? He further antagonized them and he's like, no, I have nothing to do with it, no. It's
yeah. In fact, wow. Anna, building off of that, he apparently told his advisors, quote, some stupid cop in Minneapolis kneels on someone's neck and now everyone is protesting. No, you schmuck. It isn't one cop kneeling on someone's neck. It's happened thousands of times in America. And the fact that you don't recognize that is what shows you what the problem is. That's why people are protesting, because our leaders don't give a damn how many black men have been killed by cops and how often that it has happened. And you minimize it. And he says, no matter what I say, quote, it's not enough. Well, you haven't said anything positive. In fact, you've gone in the other direction. You just recently said they painted Black Lives Matter on Fifth Avenue, which happens to also be in front of Trump Tower. I get that they're probably trolling him, right? But he then goes like, such an esteemed street, and they put this there to denigrate it. So just a mere mention of black people denigrates a rich street. He's so unbelievably racist. And so he said, oh, we gotta do law and order, and he tear gassed people to do a photo op, peaceful protesters. No, you schmuck, you made it way, way worse. They're protesting because they can't stand it anymore, but also because the president of the United States is deeply racist. But this clown of clowns is sitting in the White House going, I can't figure it out. I mean, I hate black people, but I don't know why they're all protesting, right? So, and finally, just to go back to fun stuff, they're trying to cheer up the little child. So they're doing little stunts. Like the 4th of July celebration at Mount Rushmore was part of the stunts that they're doing. Like, Donnie, we're gonna go to Mount Rushmore. It's gonna be so fun and people are gonna clap for you. You're gonna love it, right? In mid-April, they brought trucks to the South Lawn of the White House so he could have fun playing with trucks.
Yeah, let's go ahead and watch a video of him playing with trucks. He does seem like he's in a better mood when he's around toys.
They are beautiful, beautiful trucks. That's the real deal. You wouldn't switch jobs with anybody, would you, huh? Yes, sir. You wouldn't. I know the truckers. They wouldn't switch with anybody. And look at that equipment. They're the best made. And great companies also, and companies that have really helped us a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure truckers are super excited about the fact that tech companies are working like ferociously on replacing them with self-driving vehicles. I'm sure they're really excited about that. Probably are also excited about Trump repealing regulations that would prevent them from driving for too long a period of time so they don't get into accidents. Now that amount of time has been expanded because Trump has lifted those regulations, it's likely that these truckers are gonna get into accidents. And the companies they work for are gonna force them to drive longer than they should. I'm sure they're really happy and excited about that. I'm sure they love that. God, he's such a terrible person.
Yeah, my favorite is a picture of him in the truck where it basically can be captioned as "wee." And so one last pathetic anecdote here. Another effort to cheer him up. They are making social media videos where people are literally cheering him. And then they show it to him like, look at this, Donnie, it's okay. We found all these people who really like you. And so we put together all the clapping, and they're wasting time doing this stuff. He should be out there trying to figure out how to fight coronavirus. And instead, he has not met with his top medical experts since June 2nd. About 6 weeks he hasn't met with him. But he's watching videos of himself where other people applaud him. It's so pathetic. And that's who this little child of a man is.
When you sign up for a spend and save account at aspiration.com/TYT, we will plant 10 trees. Let's save the planet together.